Hello and welcome to episode 313 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
Good.
The Wolf 77 Club everywhere, baby. Subscribe, rate, and say hello.
Jack Williams is here.
Hello. Sometimes people moan about swearing in episodes, don't they? So I think people should brace themselves just in case.
Do they actually?
Yeah, we used to have people all the time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Fuck them. Bayliss is here.
Yeah. Fuck them all.
We've arrived early, Harry. We'd normally be on a Wednesday night, as you know, but we thought, actually, I think everybody needs a little bit of therapy. There's quite a lot to get through. Another loss in the Premier League, also rumours of a takeover that could be on the cards. Let's start with the loss against Burnley, though. Going down 3-2 at Molineux. The team came out and we went, oh dear, how is Kiana Hoover in the side? And also, why is Bellegarde there?
He's lost the plot, hasn't he? Simple as that. But I got a bit of stick for the way I reacted because Bellegarde did actually play well, didn't he? Although he did give the ball away for their winner, but didn't get the team really. Like how Hoover can start and then Doherty could be completely out the squad, especially if he wasn't actually injured, is beyond me. Yeah, I'm glad Rodrigo kept his place, but like we said earlier, didn't we? He probably should have scored that big chance he had early on when they made a mistake. And the only image I can't get out of my head is Strand Larsen to keep waving his arms up and down to try and get the crowd going. Yeah. Which just felt like really annoying to me. And just calamity. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Genuinely, when it went in, I was just like, oh, there we go. So used to losing in the Premier League now. It's kind of just like, all right, there we go. Fair enough. Burnley won. See you in a bit.
Jack, it wasn't the best of starts going down 2-0 in the fashion we did. I think you said that first Burnley goal, they would not score that goal probably for the rest of this season. And I think in your words that if that had been Strand Larsen, he probably would have hit the South Bank clock. I don't think you're far off, to be honest, but what was your assessment of it?
I don't think I was that generous. I said it had probably hit Strand Larsen on the back of the head and gone out for a throw. I don't think he would have got anywhere near the goal. But I get that people, and I think they said it in their post-match that they feel that we're a bit unlucky. But you make your own luck to a certain extent, don't you? But I do think that's only a half chance from there. But it's just how easy we are to be opened up by a ball over the top, and it happened on multiple occasions throughout that game, and happened continuously. And Burnley constantly looked like they were a threat because they had like a simple solution to be able to sort of come at us and start to break us down. And they knew what they had to do. They had to, as soon as they score, the crowd are going to turn and score a second, and they turn even more. It was an absolute shambles, wasn't it? Because essentially another sort of deep ball, and they completely split our defence apart for the second goal. And we must be one of the only teams who can get a bit of momentum and bring a game back to 2-2 and then ultimately just lose it again. Like, especially in the fashion that we did, because Burnley didn't want to play towards the end. They were deliberately time wasting. They were, taking their time with substitutions. They were happy with a point, and looking at the table, that keeps the gap between us and them, and they were perfectly content with that. And despite us being the better team in the second half, again, like we look at the ones who should go on to win the game. No cutting edge, and then when nothing's going right for you, these sorts of things happen. And they tie waste to kill our momentum for a little bit. We take the throw in and we just fluff it. And Bellegarde falls over and taps it straight back to them. And obviously from that point, we all know what's going to happen. They're going to score. But the problem was probably not even the second half or the last few minutes. It was the fact that we gave ourselves 2 goals to make up to start with again in a game, which was our biggest game of the season so far. That's the issue. And whether that's team selection, whether that's nerves, whether that's just lack of ability and confidence, like, I don't know, but something is really, really, really wrong. And I know we've given Vitor Pereira, we've had a bit of patience with him because we can see what's happened, with the transfers and the players. But some of the decisions now and some of the dressing room just seems to be just lost. And like, I just don't know where to go. It's just abysmal, really, isn't it?
Dan, the fans started to turn, obviously 2-0 down, singing "You're not fit to wear the shirt," starting to turn toxic then. Probably needed it to be that way to kick them into gear. Did you find it annoying, as annoying as I did, and clearly Harry did as well, when Strand Larsen is trying to G up the fans and is shouting at everybody to be loud?
No, I don't mind that bit. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it showed a bit of heart that they wanted to try and get back in the game. And I think we had enough of the ball and got into the final third of the pitch enough that we probably should have got a third. But the problem is we don't create proper chances. I thought we were incredibly lucky to get back in the game, to be honest. They scored 2 good goals. First is a worldie. Nothing you can do about that. That's just one hell of a finish. Very soft penalty. That's the sort of thing that Liverpool or Arsenal get at home against a small club. Just tapped him on the ankles as both going for the ball. I thought we were so lucky to get back to 2-2. That should have honestly been 3-0 Burnley, game to bed. And then just happened that we got some momentum in the second half, went at them like hell. But we don't create enough. We're not a good enough football team to create enough good chances. The free kick being the exception. Great free kick, but a couple of inches away from being any good, which Harry knows a lot about. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. I don't agree with the team selection, but we're all armchair fans and no one does when you keep losing. But I just thought it was a bit pathetic. Strand Larsen could run about all day throwing his hands in the air and was awful. I can't pick many that are really not even an upgrade, but good enough to play in the Premier League. Krejci at B1. Thought Andre wasn't too bad. Then I'm clutching at straws a little bit. It's a bit of a disaster. I can see why the fans have turned, and I know Vitor was the hero when he came in and turned it all around, but he had a stock of decent players there to then help him do that. You can't get rid of 6+ first team starting players and expect nothing to change. You're not going to have I think I said it in the first 20, 30 minutes of the game. There were a couple of instances where the ball went between 2 players and they just looked at each other because they don't know how to play together because they haven't had that opportunity to do so. And it's just, it is I know there's going to be a lot of swearing in this episode, so turn it off if you don't like it. But it's gone from being, we might turn this around, or tough start like we normally have in the Premier League, and then the results start to come. This is a fucking embarrassment. That's all it is. The players don't know how to play together. The manager doesn't know what his best side is. He's lost the fans. We're arguing with players in car parks. We are an utter fucking shambles. And that's it. And this is probably going to get clipped up and we're all going to look like idiots because that's what happens when you're shit. But we are truly and utterly dog shit. And will continue to be for the remainder of the season. No panic money is going to save this. No 2 or 3 signings is going to turn it around. This is proper crap. And maybe we've got to say we take our medicine now and hopefully it gets rid of Fosun. That might be the only silver lining to it.
Harry, no place in the side for João Gomez, stunningly. I don't know why. Bailey's touched up in there. Is that players aren't on the same wavelength. And that pass by Andre where he had got himself out of the shit and did a cheeky little back heel and it just went between the pair of them. And I know you love Rodrigo Gomez, but he just can't finish his dinner. Strand Larsen won't shoot. But the question I want to ask is that the John Arias free kick, as Bailey says, inches from going in. If that goes in, Wolves win the game. Do you think we're sat here saying the same thing?
We probably would have moaned a bit about how we went 2-0 down, maybe, and just said we've got away with one. But I think even if we'd have beat Burnley, we're still going to go down, to be honest. I think Sunderland and Burnley were must-wins. We've lost both. I think we had to hold on against Brighton and Spurs, obviously give both of them away. We had to pick up a win or a couple of draws in the first 5 that we lost against the likes of Everton and Bournemouth. So it'd have been papering over cracks if we would have won. I think we deserved to win. I think Burnley, look, they were just only Wolves could lose a game where the other team didn't want to win it. They just wanted to draw it. It's just typical Wolves, isn't it? That we somehow lose a game where they're trying to draw. Great free kick. I mean, when Manetzi went through, not one fibre in my body thought he was going to put that away. I just thought we've got the wrong bloke running through here. Took his goal well, to be fair, his header. But compared to Manetzi, as much as everyone thinks he's shit, which I get it. I get why people say that. He's been done all right lately. He's got a few of our goals. He's our top goal scorer, and he did Brighton count as his goal. I don't know if it's an own goal. Got one in the cup. He's our only goal threat. He's more of a goal threat than Strand Larsen at the moment, Menezzi. But for me, João Gomez and Andre, you've got to start them two every week. I know Bellegarde played well, but you've got to start them two. They are fantastic when they want to be. I know they're not in form, but to keep dropping one and then dropping the other, he's lost the plot. He prefers Menezzi and Bellegarde over João Gomez and Andre. I mean, I know Hwang Chan didn't start, but he prefers Hwang Chan over Fer Lopez, and obviously it was Rodrigo, but he's back in. Fer Lopez can't even get in. He has lost the plot, and then, as we saw at full time, I thought he was going to start swinging at the South Bank with his fists, and how has he not been sacked? How have we not had the announcement that he's gone? He's clearly lost his mind.
It cost him too much money, Harry.
He's got to have lost the dressing room as well. He's got to have. Well, then, if they keep him, because it'll cost them too much money, they're going to get fucking relegated, aren't they? So they shouldn't have given that new contract. Jeff Shi is a clueless, old Chinese man. And he's done this to us over the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm bored of it. I've had enough.
Not just him.
I'm
He's just
disillusioned.
fake, Harry.
Just send us down now. Trigger something in the Premier League where they just say, go on then, Wolves. Just go down now. You don't have to play any more games. We'll just put you down as a loss every game. Just do it. Because if Wolves were a dog, you'd shoot them in the head now, wouldn't you, and put them out of their misery.
Well, oh, okay, right. Well, Jack, I want to take a look at the substitutions. Again, they were late. I think Harry's right. Vitor's lost the plot. He's not making the changes where he needed to be changed. I think the fact that we were 2-0 down and pulled it back to 2-2 meant that there weren't any changes at halftime, which is what it probably needed. And they didn't end up coming until the 68th minute when Hwang came on for John Arias. And João Gomez was replaced Andre, 68 minutes. And then the others, David Muller-Wolf comes on. And we were talking about his throws. And Harry, you likened him to the kid that gets picked last in PE and the guy that turns up to Sunday League. And he's a nice guy and you want to give him a couple of minutes because his family have turned up to watch. Jack, you said that his throw-ins weren't that bad. Now that you've watched it back, what's your assessment?
Well, I've only watched the one back, which ultimately led to the goal, which I don't think is his fault, let's be honest, because there's 2 opportunities for our players to actually do something about that after the throw-in. And ultimately, it breaks down with Bellegarde. He messes it up. So, but it's not exactly a substitution that's thinks, oh, hang on, we're going to go on and win this game. It doesn't sort of drive a bit of confidence into the team and the squad. But all in all, just all a bit weird again, isn't it? Andre, didn't he storm off down the tunnel? People were saying because he was unhappy with being taken off, and you can understand why. The classic thing again of I've been calling out for ages, and loads of people have been saying it that I want Strand Larsen and Tolu to be playing at the same time. We do it too late when there's 10 minutes left, and then even when we do, we don't put another good ball into the box. So we've got 2 6-foot+ people up there and we don't even put another good cross in. So what's the point? And just all these sort of baffling little things which are just so frustrating to everybody. So these are the things you can have patience because of the turnover of players and the late investment and us trying to do the same thing every year where we sell our assets and bring in new players and think that we should somehow progress, which is just deluded. But there's cracks showing in just the substitutions and the game management, and that's cost us points now. And I'm not saying that we should be mid-table, but we should, even with the way it's been and how bad it's been, we should have more than 2 points because we should have saw out Brighton. We should have seen out Spurs. We should have beat Burnley. There should be points on the board to at least put us in 17th place. But we're adrift because of bad management, I think.
We've thrown away 7 points now purely from the last 3 minutes of a game. Which sums it up, right? That's shit your pants football.
And that's in the last... That's just in the last few weeks as well, really. And, you know, Vitor is, he's got 2 years, 11 months and about 10 days left on his 3-year contract we've just given him. So, I don't understand.
How bad a timing was that, Bayliss, do you reckon, given everything that's followed it?
How bad timing? Simon, they're just terrible. That game should have been put to bed long before the last kick that scored them the goal. I still want to go back to the players and singling them out because you have to. I mean, Arias, we've spoken about his fantastic free kick that didn't score. But other than that, is one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen in a Wolves shirt. He is clueless. I mean, I don't know how this guy tore the World Club Championship apart and then comes and plays like that against Burnley. No disrespect to Burnley, because they rightly beat us. But what the hell is it? Are they all just struggling to settle in the Premier League and it's too good a standard for them or something?
This is where I start to have a bit of sympathy for Vitor, because if you look, we've all said how important like the positions of fullback, wing back, whatever position formation we're playing were to us. And we've gone from starting pretty much every week 8 Nori and Semedo to yesterday starting Keanu Hoover and Hugo Bueno, 2 players who were just outcasts and went out on loan previously. And if that's not a downgrade, then I don't know what is. But I just started to write down the players that we've signed in the last 2 windows. So bearing in mind all the outgoings we've had, the 2 just mentioned, Cunha, Sarabia as well. And these are the players that we brought in. So Nasser Jigger didn't feature, gone on loan to Scotland, waste of time. Manetzi, who, as we were saying, just runs about a lot, but can't hit the side of a Renault Espace, can he? Let's be honest, when you need him to. Agbadou, who looks like he was going to be the next bloody Van Dijk at the end of last season, and then I guess he must have seen his dog get run over in the summer or something, because he's come back a broken man. Not a
bag of cement.
Fair Lopez, who actually looks like, for what we've seen, wants the ball and wants to actually create stuff, but obviously doesn't feature. With those attributes, you won't get anywhere near the first team trying to create stuff. It's not there. John Arias, who's been an absolute waste of space apart from 1 free kick. Honestly, he could send him back to Brazil now for all I care. Muller Wolf, don't need to say anything really, do I? Muller Wolf. Jackson Chichua, who is basically Dharma Traore number 2, and he's quick, but he can't put a cross in. Tolu Arakadare, who we've not seen enough of because he's only been coming on for 10 minutes, so still question mark. And then Krejci, who looks like the only good one of the list.
You've also missed that. That is the top scorer in a European qualifying top league that's been getting 10 minutes at the end of the games.
Yep. And what does that say? I mean, it's both again, isn't it? It's the board, it's the player management, and it's just what's the other thing? The recruitment. So
we might as well just kept Kalajic and not signed Tolu, and just let Kalajic come on for 10 minutes at the end of every game. What's the point in signing Tolu? You're going to hardly play him. Just, look, I was saying that not one fan, you could have asked every single fan in that stadium the weekend. Not one of them would have started Hoover.
No.
Not one of them. Most of them would have thought he wouldn't even have been on the bench. You could ask every single fan, they'd probably give Mane a chance because of our lack of creativity in the final third. Why not give the kid a chance who's tearing it up? And that was what you meant to do. He's lost the plot. I've said it before. Gary O'Neill lost the plot. Bruno Lage lost the plot. But because we're giving that new contract, like we did with O'Neill, they're going to stick it out. And like Bailey said, they probably don't want to pay him off and all his staff. It's like they're just resigned to the fact we're going down and Netflix accepted it. Apparently, was there 11 Fosun people there yesterday, apparently, to watch that? And he's still not been sacked. So if that sort of result and the way he acted at full time doesn't get you the sack, and they say you don't think he's lost the dressing room, but you got Jose Sarr after the game saying we're shit, and like saying the players are shit. Of course, look, you said mentioned Andre storming down the tunnel. He's lost the dressing room. He's lost a lot of players.
This is the problem now, Harry, and I think we'll get onto it in full, but it's the start of a spark of something worse. Is that what the Chinese could now do, and I think they probably might, and the thing that's clicked my brain on this is not taking the extra tickets for Chelsea because they have to pay for them all first, is that they will hold out, not spend, and then asset strip it once we're down and then be done with it. Because we know it's a bad situation. They know they're hated. So they can't possibly get out of this now. We're too far gone. So what do? You just try and get back what you can and get out of there. Or even grind it into the floor and sell it off for scraps. I mean, that's what's happened at Sheffield Wednesday. Different level.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. So it's probably a good time to move on to the takeover rumours. So this first appeared in The Athletic, picked up by the New York Times, Mirror, Express, etc. So it's gaining much more traction than any other rumours of a takeover have so far. So if I just do a rundown for everybody, this is how I understand it. So John Textor, the American investor who previously held a stake in Crystal Palace, has made a 400 million plus offer to buy Wolves from Fosun. The bid is a mix of cash and shares in his multi-group Eagle Football, which already owns Botafogo, Lyon and RWDM Brussels. He likes Wolves because the club's strong Portuguese links fit his model of moving South American talent into Europe's top leagues.
This guy's bad news.
Hang on, just wait.
No,
Fosun aren't interested in taking shares in Textor's group. They want to keep control and only sell a minority stake. Wolves, of course, bottom of the Premier League, so Fosun do not want to sell on unfavourable terms. There is a messy part to this, obviously. Textor is juggling a long list of legal and financial disputes. A major lender wants back hundreds of millions of pounds he's borrowed to buy Lyon. A big investor claims he owes them over 70 million pounds after a failed stock market float. There are separate legal fights in Brazil, Belgium, and at the Court of Arbitration for Sport involving transfers and former club executives. A defeat in one of those cases could pull the plug on his buying power. So I'll then bring you in, Bayliss. It's not something that I think we want, but what's your view?
No, this guy's bad news. That's not the sort of thing you want at all. I know it's a bad situation, but I genuinely think you'd rather go bust and have to be dug out of it than get someone like that involved. He's been bad news for a few years floating around football. I don't know why Palace let him in. Honestly, I think that's a really, really bad.
Is he the reason why they got demoted as well? Because of his links with Lyon?
Sort of. So the situation there was about owners' rules, essentially. And if Palace had known they were going to win the FA Cup and therefore qualify for Europe in March, they could have done some jiggery pokery and probably moved it around. But you don't know you're going to win the FA Cup, and Palace have never won anything in their history. So there was no reason to sort of look at it as you would any other season, especially at that time of year. It was a bit strange that they weren't able to retrospectively do something, given that this has never or rarely happens. But Jack, is it better the devil you know in Fosun? They're looking for minority shareholders rather than a full buyout. You've got two sides of this where you have potential club not worth as much come the end of the season by quite a large margin, or you've got Bayliss, what Bayliss is saying, potentially Fosun asset stripping and selling up in the Championship.
I genuinely can't believe that someone's mad enough to even put a bid in. Like I thought it was all just paper talk and rumours, just mainly started by Wolves fans. But the fact that it actually might have some legs, that we are looking for potential new owners, it's just crazy. And the fact that as soon as I heard the what was quoted, the $200 million in cash, like, bite their hand off. We're going to be worth 200 quid in the Championship when we go down. So, like, Fosun paid, what, 40 million pounds for us? The fact that they can potentially, in this position now, still get a 3 to 4 times return on investment for the club, it just seems
it won't be
great
because of what they put in.
Well, just in terms of sale price rather than everything else. But obviously, we still got assets on the pitch as well. I mean, well, not many, but 1 or 2. So it just surprised me, really. I don't know what to say, but I don't know much about it. I think the model's a bit weird when you have people who own stakes in multiple clubs who could all theoretically end up competing with each other in the same European competition. But we're so far away from Europe. If it helps us in the short term, great. But the problem is now, I don't know why anyone would buy us, because we're in the same position that we have been once or twice before now. And the same thing has happened where they need to. Fosun can go change the manager and spend in January and we'll be safe. The problem is we're not good enough in the short term this time to be able to do that, because we're going to get to January with barely any points on the board. And we're in a league now where all the teams, apart from us, seem to be competing a little bit better. So it's going to be too late. So I don't know why you'd splash out buying us now if you could buy us in the Championship in 6 to 8 months' time, where our value is going to have dropped by, 60%?
I think that the value's dropped already. Excuse the pun, but this is literally like the boy who cried wolf. We've had 2 seasons on the bounce where we've been terrible at the start, just about got out of it because of an unbelievable purple patch of form with top players.
And 3 ship promoted sides.
Yeah, and terrible promoted sides. Yeah, I've seen a few things floating around about, looking for investment from certain places, and certain investment banks are looking to tout Wolves for Fosun. I wouldn't believe a word of it. If that sort of thing's happening, that isn't getting out to the likes of us, is it? If you think about it.
That, I know it's slightly different and off the subject a bit, but when people started reporting that they're going to stick with Vitor, it made me laugh that they were like, yeah, Fosun and Jeff have started to realise now that the free promoted team's probably not going to be below us. It's like, no shit, Sherlock, you've just worked that out. We've lost all three of them. Like, it is mad, isn't it, that we're constantly banking on 3 or 4 teams being worse than us, not having ambition to push up towards the top half of the table. It's right. It's okay because there's 5 teams worse off, and they've got it completely wrong. But like Sam said the other week, we did think the 3 that come up went down, but it's just dangerous to hope that's going to happen. And as we've said before, now it's catching up with us. But yeah, toxic stuff.
Do you think there's legs in it though, Jack? What do you reckon?
I was shocked that there's any legs in it, to be honest, but now it's come from a more reliable source than just Facebook groups and Twitter pages, then maybe. The problem is we see it all the time. These things are not quick transactions. They're not going to be sorted by next week. It will go on for months. And by that point, in terms of our immediate Premier League future, I think we're all in agreement it's probably going to be over. So, I don't know how anyone can sat there, though, and just watch that game of football and what happened at the end with the fans, which we probably should talk about a little bit more, actually, that they just dive into a bit more deeper into that. But sit there and think, that's a good investment. Where's my $200 million? Like, don't quite understand it. So surprising, but we'll see what happens. Will it save us in the short term? No, the damage will be done by then.
Harry, what was your assessment of as Jack said, that the full-time whistle when you've got Vitor going over to the South Bank and there was an exchange of words and lots of gesturing, and it looked like Strand Larsen was getting involved. He got taken away and then he was trying to come back in. What did you reckon?
I kind of respect that Strand Larsen stood there and just listened. Like he did, didn't he? He just stood there and listened. But where it went tits up is when Vitor started doing all the stuff with his fists. And when he comes out, and I think it's what he was saying to the people in the South Bank, which rolled him up so much. When he comes out and said, you've got to be proud of their effort and, how much they were trying to win. I thought, they're on so much fucking money. That should be the bare minimum anyway. I'm not praising them for trying and putting effort in. That should be the very bare minimum, the amount of fucking money they're paid to play. So I'm not having it. They're just not good enough. It's as simple as that. You've got to put blame on all of them.
One of his comments, Harry, in the press conference was that they gave their everything. So if that is everything,
we're fucked.
Give up.
Yeah.
Do you think if he genuinely thinks that's everything and that is the best they can give?
Isn't that exactly what Gary O'Neill said after Ipswich when we lost 2-1? Gary O'Neill said when we lost to Ipswich last season in his last game, they've give everything. That's the maximum they can perform. And then a week later, Vitor comes in. We go and win 3-0 away at Leicester and play like a different team. So as much as everyone moans saying we can't keep chopping managers, I think that's our last resort. It's just to try and get that boost of a new manager and just hope we get something clicks, because he's gone. When he's coming out with the same, I just can't believe how much the same it is the last season in terms of how it's gone. If we draw against Fulham away, we're on the exact same points as we were under O'Neill after 10 games, 3 draws, lost the rest. It's just mad how the same it is. And it reminded me a lot of that Ipswich game, this one, the way we lost it right at the death. But he's survived, hasn't he? I know that was a lot later, the Ipswich game, but it's very similar. And I just don't get how he's still in a job. I just can't get my head around it.
I heard lots of people talking in and around me yesterday of changing the manager, Jack, and everybody asked exactly the same question as I was asking pre-match and post-match, which was, who do you bring in if you sack Vitor Pereira?
Not a clue. It's the same names that just get shouted about all the time, isn't it? So the ones that a lot of them are already moved. A lot of them are already moved into jobs. Look at Sean Dyche. Look at Nuno's moved around again. These sorts of things. So it'd be the same names that have probably replaced them. But in reality, it will be Portuguese manager who we don't know much about. Will be next on the list. That's the way it goes, isn't it? But can they come in and get a bit more out of these players, fresh ideas potentially? But why does this happen all the time? It's a pattern now, isn't it? It's a pattern that there's like a honeymoon period. Everything's great. They pull us to safety, and the next season we don't know what's going on. And is it the players? Is it the board? Is everything just rotten from top to bottom? Like, I don't know. It's just strange, isn't it? And the thing that I always go back to that's really disappointing for me is the fact that we've had these warnings. We've had 3 years of warnings about this, and every time they've done the same thing again and expected things to get better when everyone was saying we're going to get caught out at some point. We're going to get caught out. Well, now this is us getting caught out, and what's happening is nothing is going right. You can again go back to the same. We're having bad luck in certain aspects, which is true, but ultimately players who we thought would come back and be really good have come back and just not been in form. He doesn't know his own captain, doesn't know his own team. It's just all over the place. So I agree, even if it does cost us a load of money to get rid of him, I think we just need to try something. And that is also with the caveat that I don't think it's all his fault, but we need something to try and energize some life into the squad, because like, again, the players are arguing. Jose Sar's, fair play to him. He's actually having what looked like mostly just a heated debate in the car park. Strand Larsen in his post-match actually looked visibly upset, to be fair to him. He didn't look very happy at all, which I do like Strand Larsen, so I felt a bit bad for him. But ultimately, nothing's be good enough, and they need something to bring him up. And whatever that might be, they need to take a chance.
Harry?
Yeah, and João Gomez put out a tweet as well, didn't he? I love João Gomez. His tweet was probably the best out of all the aftermath, just saying he's grateful all the fans still turn up. Well, he says all the fans, he's getting emptier and emptier, but I get his point. But Strand Larsen, yeah, in a way, it's like, but he just annoyed me so much during the game, so that's kind of tainted my view of what he did after, like fronting up the fans, and then his interview, like you say, was good, and he was our captain on the day, wasn't he? Which was ridiculous in itself when you think of all the leadership group that weren't available. But and apparently someone was put in the comments, sorry for who put it, I forgot who it was, but apparently they were blasting the sound up when the South Bank after the game was singing "We Want Fosun Out." They kept putting the music louder and louder to drown it out. Apparently, and like if that's true, and then I think Bayliss mentioned it earlier, Jack. I don't know if you want to talk about it more. This Chelsea tickets thing as well. It's as if they're trying to annoy the fans at the moment, isn't it? With the things like that, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't clock this actually until Talking Wolves put the tweet out about it. And usually for a standard away allocation, there's a few sort of caveats to that when the ground is small or when the police have said that they need segregation or whatever. It's usually 3,000 tickets for an away game as standard, and pretty much every away game apart from maybe Brentford and Fulham in London in the Premier League has a 3,000 allocation. I think every game we played against Chelsea since we came up has given us those 3,000 tickets, but for some reason now, we'll probably go into the reasons in a minute to why we think it is. We've only taken a 2,000 allocation to the game against Chelsea, away game on a week Saturday, which is just bizarre because these away games, they pretty much always sell out, particularly being a big name like Chelsea. Pretty much probably every London away game since we've come back up has sold out, maybe with the exception of that weird West Ham game, which was on a Monday night, I think, at some point. But even then, it was 90% full. It wasn't like completely empty or anything. So the fact that they've now taken a smaller allocation just seems bizarre. And then you couple that with the fact that it didn't even get halfway down the loyalty points allocations before all the tickets have gone. So there's season ticket holders with a few points, season ticket holders with no points, all the members and all the general sale to shift the extra 1,000 tickets, and they've made the choice not to. And the only reason you can think for that is because obviously when Wolves buy the tickets, if any of the tickets go unsold, they have to sub the cost themselves. So I agree, they're just getting everything wrong because there's many people who would still want to go to that game. I know it's an awkward kickoff time, but there's Wolves fans in London who don't get to go to many games. There's people who might be members who live down here who bite your hand off at a chance to go to an away game at Chelsea, and they're going to miss out now because Jeff Shee thinks, hang on, if I don't sell 30 tickets, I've got to sub the price myself, and it's just not worth the risk. So we'd rather have 1,000 less Wolves fans in the stadium when we really need them in there because the results are terrible. So just can't get anything right. It's just clueless, absolutely clueless by the club.
I read, Jack, that the last time they did this was Brighton in January. I think you went to it. One at Brighton away. Might have been this January or the January before was the last time they didn't take the full allocation, apparently. But you get that, don't you, Brighton? I think it was a Monday night.
Yeah. midweek against Brighton makes sense.
But what's funny is we're all sat here saying we're done and all that, but all four of us are going to Chelsea away. So maybe we're the fools.
It's one last hurrah.
I think since we all went to Slova and Bratislava, it'd be the first time we've all gone to a game together, an away game, isn't it? In about 6 years.
Home game we have, but away we haven't.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, away, yeah. So, yeah, us dickheads are all going to Chelsea away, so maybe we're the idiots, yeah.
Potentially. Speaking of Chelsea, you got them in the Carabao Cup. Do you reckon there'll be any changes, Bayliss?
I don't care.
Excellent. Harry?
Good podcasting, Bayliss. Yeah, I think...
There's going to be about 3 people there.
I know. I think it'll be... He made... the last Carabao Cup one was Everton, wasn't it? And we won. He started... Saying that, it was a makeshift team, but he started Bellegarde. But then he fucking started Bellegarde the weekend. I think we're going to see Tolu start. I think we're probably going to see Hwang Hee-chan start, because obviously he didn't start the last one. Surely Fair Lopez starts. If he can't start a Carabao Cup game, then my God, he must hate him. I think Sarr might be back in goal unless Jeff Shee and Vitor took offence to what he said in the car park saying was shit. We'll probably see Agbadou and Totti back in, won't we? Basically, everyone we ain't in for a while. We'll start. Muller-Wolf will probably start. Make a wish, innit? Just give him a run out. Don't know. He'll be right back. I can't tell you who our worst right back is at the moment. He seems to think Hoover's the best one. Maybe Doherty will be back in there. He won't drop Manetzi because he loves him. But he might go back to a 5. He might go back to a 5 and just probably put Bellegarde and Manetzi in midfield. I don't know. That's the answer. I should have just said. I don't know but I expect a lot of changes.
Harry,
they
don't care.
That's it. We'd have had it.
Sure.
Don't care from Bayliss, and I don't know from Harry.
Well, I don't know. He's definitely going to make changes, but I think he will prioritise Fulham. So I think he'll go weak in quotations because I think our whole team's weak. Never mind our backup players, and then he'll go back to what he thinks his best team, which I don't think he even knows what is his best team against Fulham. But when you think back to that Everton game, we did play a bit of a second string team, but because we won 2-0, that became our first string team, didn't it? Going into Spurs and Brighton. And we nearly got a couple of wins there, and obviously there were draws. So if he plays the 5-2-3 in this game, with Agbadou and Totti in that at the back, if we beat Chelsea, he'll probably just stick with the same team going into Fulham, and then we'll be back to the team we were playing at the beginning of the season again. So we'll see.
What do you reckon, Jack? Is there room in the side for Jose Sarr following car park gates? Does Agbadou and Totti get a reprieve? Will any of the leadership team make the starting 11? Because they were finding it difficult to get on the pitch at the weekend.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jose Sarr's bloody thrown Jeff Shee into a bloody biffa bin by the time Wednesday comes around, to be honest, because he was raging, wasn't he? I think it will be heavy rotation, just looking at it purely from the way you should look at it. Like, the league is more important, even though it's a disaster. Wednesday to Saturday is a quick turnaround in it. So I think the forgotten men will likely feature here. So I think the likes of Agbadou, the likes of Tozy Gomez, I think there'll be wholesale changes up and down the pitch, and then it will give some of the players a chance to work their way into that first team. And if you can't break into that first team at the moment, then you might as well just stop playing football, to be honest. Like, so
did you see the picture of Toty next to Vitor? That picture's been doing the rounds. I've been going mad.
Yeah. It's face.
He's just like, he looks like, I don't know what he is, but it's just made me laugh. Vitor's going nuts, and he's just there, like, glaring at the camera, like, please, someone save me. But yeah, will he be back in? He's our captain, Toty, so you'd assume he'll be back in.
We've got
5 captains. Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter.
So none of them can get on the pitch. João Pedro, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, and Manjing Knoxon could be rested by Maresca. Liam Delap is pushing for a return from injury and could return to the matchday squad for the cup tie for Chelsea. It is 7:45 kickoff, and you can watch it on Amazon Prime Video, Paramount Plus, and Sky Sports Plus.
Neto's going to score.
Comedy Central.
Yeah. Comedy Central.
And on Sky Sports Plus, I've seen it on Sky Sports Plus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Neto will definitely score, I think. But they lost, didn't they? They lost to Sunderland, didn't they, late on? So, they're down the dumps like us. They had a last-minute loss as well.
Sunderland did well. Sunderland played well. They deserved that. I thought they were all right.
Yeah.
But, well,
2 bad teams
to beat us. So, yeah.
If we'd have
do a score
won, we'd
prediction,
be on a
Harry.
high. We'd be on a high, wouldn't we? If we'd have won. Prediction
We
for
haven't won
Chelsea.
since April.
No, but if we would have beat Burnley, we'd have gone into this with a bit of a what's it called? A bump in our step? Is that the right word? A pipe in our step?
Spring in
Spring in
our
our
step.
step. That's it.
A bump
Pipe
in our
In the
in
step.
words,
step.
in the words of Harry
Jesus.
Mansell, that if my auntie had bollocks, she'd be my uncle. So
Yes.
there's that.
But we're not. We lost. We're shit. And like you say, we haven't won since April. So I think it'd be 2-0 Chelsea. And then I think we'll lose like 2 or 3 at Fulham as well, just to put the icing on the cake.
Jack.
Predictions for both games. I mean, when we're doing this badly in the league, the Carabao Cup just becomes a distraction for me, to be honest. And I can't believe we've got through the 2 ties against Premier League opposition. So we'll probably win again to paper over the cracks somehow and then get battered away at Stamford Bridge. So I will say that we will scrape past Chelsea somehow. I don't know how, because they won't be interested in it either. And then we'll get battered at Fulham on Saturday, 2-0.
Bayliss, Mr. Optimistic.
I think by Sunday, Wolves will have conceded 6 and scored 1.
You think we're going to score? Crazy.
We will
That
score
is
1.
Do you
optimistic.
think if we beat Chelsea, do you think they'll give Vita a new 5-year deal, like as a reward?
Add it on.
I think
A little top up.
it does
Honestly,
make a mockery of the whole
like,
thing, doesn't it?
Now that they haven't just got an endless money pit to throw at it, it does pretty much sum it up. The Chinese couldn't run a fucking bath, could they? They haven't got a clue. Like now that they've got rid of Mendes, and now that they've got rid of the guys that actually run the club in the background and they're trying to do it themselves, they are utterly useless. They should
Have they got rid of Mendes?
They should stick to cruises and holidays and pharmaceuticals.
It's not that we
weekend.
haven't.
The rest of their company does.
It's not that we ain't spent though, is it? Like, because we brought in some players. I know we've obviously made profit on what we've sold. It's just like we've just spent it on very underwhelming and underperforming things at the moment. And then when you couple that with the horrible combination of your players who, from last season, you think, right, we'll start to build a team around, and they just aren't performing either. Everyone's in bad form. It looks like what we bought in is mainly dross. It's just bad, isn't it?
I do stick by the point that we all said that about Cunha, by the way.
Mm.
You know, I know he came in January, slightly different, but he didn't hit the ground running at all. And we were questioning that signing of him for £47.5 million in the summer that we lost Ruben Neves. So there's a chance that they can come good. I just think it will probably come too late.
Too late. Yeah, it'd be too late. We'll be gone. When Cunha come in, he was struggling. We still had like Raul on that, didn't we? Talking of Raul, I watched the Fulham Newcastle game the weekend, and I'd take Raul and Adama back in a heartbeat. I'd miss them. I think I'm living in the past, obviously, but
yeah,
I just miss them, man.
On that note, and on that somber, mate, I hope you've enjoyed the therapy, and whether we've helped or not, we will see. But if you are heading to Molineux on Wednesday, then best of luck, be safe. And if you're heading up to Fulham at the weekend, may well see you there. But we'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Ta-da.
Jack Williams.
Bye.
And Dan Bayliss.
There are a few things, but I'm not going to bother. It'll get me in trouble. Goodbye.
And it's a goodbye for me. Goodbye.